Hello, sports lovers. Welcome to Med Sports TV. In today's episode, we are going to analyze the much-awaited bout between Iron Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. The second bout we will be analyzing is Daniel Dynamite Dubois versus Joe the Juggernaut Joyce. But before we get into it, we have to pay our respect to Argentinian football legend Diego Armando Maradona, who passed on the 25th of November 2020. May his soul rest in heaven. The legend who was voted France Player of the Century, FIFA France Player of the Century. And he played for the likes of Napoli, Newell's Old Boys, Boca Juniors, Barcelona, Sevilla, Argentina Juniors, and so on. So, RIP legend, may your soul rest in heaven, and we dedicate this show to the legend Diego Armando Maradona. To the first fight, Iron Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. is a heavyweight bout. It's going to be exciting. Sports lovers around the world are talking about it. It is trending on Twitter. It is trending on Instagram. And you can't be on this planet and not watch this fight, because it's going to be live from BT Sports, and it's going to be commissioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. It's an exhibition bout, so that means the fighters are going to wear headgear. They will be wearing 12-ounce gloves, and there will be no knockouts allowed. Sorry to disappoint you. It's an exhibition bout, and there will be no clear winner declared because it's an exhibition bout. But I think Iron Mike Tyson is going for the comeback because he wants to be, the ambition is to be the oldest heavyweight champion of the world, having been the youngest heavyweight champion of the world. He's looking to come back, fight a couple of fights with the likes of Evander Holyfield, and then go for a world champion. But like I said in earlier episode, I advised Mike Tyson not to go into a combat with any young lion, Yeah, the young lions are hungry. The likes of Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Dillian White, they are hungry and they will tear him apart. A friend asked me my view on his pad works, and I said that men's don't hit back. Pads don't hit back. He may look good on them, but they don't hit back. If you're in a real fight, when you hit, you would be hit back. And at his age, it will be very difficult for him to recover when he is punched. But now let's go to the tail of the tape. Iron Mike Tyson is his full name, and he's facing Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr., a lot of people are underrating, but the time Mike Tyson was on top, Mike Tyson was on top of the heavyweight division, but Roy Jones Jr. was on top of boxing. Yes, Roy Jones Jr. was on top of boxing. In the 90s, he won the Ring Magazine pound for pound boxer in the 90s. So, he's a very formidable opponent. He had even tried fighting Iron Mike Tyson in the year 2003. But the fight could not happen due to a couple of financial issues. But hey, after so many years, the fight has presented itself in the form of exhibition bouts. We boxing lovers will take it like that. It's good for us to see great legends facing each other, exhibiting their skill. Tyson would be looking to knock out Roy Jones, and Roy Jones would be looking to box Tyson. So now let me go to the tail of the tape. Mike Tyson is 54 years and Roy Jones is 51 years. Iron Mike Tyson has 58 fights. Roy Jones has 75 fights. Iron Mike Tyson has 50 wins. Roy Jones has 60 wins. Iron Mike Tyson has 44 KOs. Roy Jones has 47 KOs. That is the amazing thing. Though Mike Tyson is a knockout artist, Roy Jones Jr. has more knockouts than Iron Mike Tyson. Let me continue. Tyson lost 6 times and Roy Jones Jr. lost 9 times. Tyson had no contest 2 times. Roy Jones had none. I remember his fight with Andrew Golota, the Polish heavyweight contender. Tyson won that fight in a fantastic manner, but later was positive for herpes in his urine. The last time Iron Mike Tyson fought was in June 2005. That is 16 years ago. And the last time Roy Jones fought was in February 2018. That's 2 years ago. So Roy Jones is looking like the fresher man coming into the fight. Iron Mike Tyson stands at 5'10" and Roy Jones Jr. stands at 5'11". Roy Jones has an advantage of 78-inch reach and Mike Tyson has 71. It's an 8-round bout, 2 minutes each round. I think Iron Mike Tyson will come in very strong in the earlier rounds, but I think Roy Jones will lure him into the ropes with his cover-ups. Iron Mike Tyson is not as fast as he used to be. He's bigger. He has the size advantage, but Roy Jones is taller. He has the reach advantage, but Iron Mike Tyson will be looking forward to pushing Roy Jones to the ropes. And I think Roy Jones even enjoys that because of his sleek movements around, and he would be able to block or see every punch Iron Mike Tyson is throwing. And with Iron Mike Tyson pacing down, I think Roy Jones' defense would be good enough for him. If Iron Mike Tyson comes in wanting to knock him out, I think Roy will do that for the first 3 rounds and start picking Tyson apart, because Roy Jones has a very, very, very good footwork. You remember in my Ideal Boxer episode, I spoke about Roy Jones' footwork. Roy Jones can dance around the ring. A prime Roy Jones was so exciting to watch. He was cocky, he was dancing with his feet, and you could not catch him. So I think Roy Jones would set up Mike Tyson to burn out and later take him apart in the later rounds. That's how I see the fight going. But if Roy Jones is unable to put in a good defense, Mike Tyson would KO him by the 4th round, because he would be hungry to show the old Kid Dynamite. Not the Iron Mike Tyson, but the Kid Dynamite. The Kid Dynamite was the 19-year-old Iron Mike Tyson, was the 20-year-old Mike Tyson, was the 21-year-old Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson has said that it is going to be an exciting fight. Roy Jones has promised the fans a whole lot of skill. Roy Jones has always been in the ring, having been training and commenting, but Mike Tyson, because of depression and all that, went away from boxing, stopped training, ballooned in weight. But hey, the 54-year-old is now looking like a carved god. He looks in fantastic shape. But there's one thing looking in shape and one thing being in shape. They both look in shape, but do they have the condition? The condition of a boxer. You may be in shape, but your cardio and stuff may not be there in order to sustain you throughout the fight. But we hope these two legends, Hall of Famers, give us the best. And I predict a win. Though there will be no clear-cut winner, I predict a win for Roy Jones Jr. because I'm biased. He is one of my exciting fighters of all time. And I think he will do the job against Iron Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson will come in hard at him, but Roy Jones will dance around him in the later round, and Iron Mike would not have any answer to Roy Jones's jab and power punch, right hook to the stomach. So that's my take on this particular fight. Let me go to the next one. These are young, hungry lions. That is Daniel Dynamite Dubois versus Joe Juggernaut Joyce. Juggernaut Joyce is an Olympic silver medalist, which I'm of the opinion after watching the fight that he should have been given the gold medal. He was robbed of a genuine. Mayweather will say, they gave me silver. They did not. They gave me silver. I did not win silver. I won gold. So I think Jones was robbed of gold, and it's going to be a style. It's going to be an exciting fight. Big guys. Joe has an inch-rich advantage, I think. Then, but the age and fresher fighter, as with Daniel Dynamite Dubois, he's younger. He's a more rounded fighter than Joyce. He has power. He has good balance. Though sometimes when he's exchanging, he happens to lose it, but fairly he has good balance. Not great footworks, because in the Richard Latte fight, you could see him missing his steps, standing flat in front of Richard Latte. When he got caught, he lost his balance and was moving around. If that situation had been Joe Joyce, I think Daniel Dynamite Dubois would be knocked out. Just like Joe in his fight against Jennings, where Jennings faked with the right hook and gave him a punch to the body. Joe went back, so I think he must be in core shape, train his body, and be ready for those body shots, because Daniel Dynamite Dubois, besides the straight right hand that comes after the jab, also likes to body, and that is the punch Joe cannot take. So it's going to be a very interesting bout, but let me give you the tail of the tape of these two young lions. Joe Joyce may not be young, but in terms of boxing, he doesn't have much fights on his resume. So most people still regard him as a young lad. Joe Joyce is 35 years. Daniel Dubois is Daniel Dubois is 23 years. Dubois has 15 fights. Joyce has 10 fights. Dubois 15 wins. Joyce 15 wins. No loss, no draw. 14 knockouts for Daniel and 9 knockouts for Joyce. Joyce, they are both orthodox fighters. They are both from Great Britain. Reach advantage is with Joe. He has a reach advantage of 80 inches, whilst Joyce has a reach of 78. Then the height advantage also goes with Joyce. He's 6'6", and Daniel is 6'5". In terms of competition, both fighters has faced. I think on the resume of Joe Joyce in his semi-pro fight, though he lost to Alexander Usyk, the #1 contender for the WBO championship, Joe Joyce have fought better opponents than Dubois. Dubois has fought the likes of Nathan Goldman, this Japanese guy, Ghana's Richard Latte, but Joyce has fought better opponents, Bermane, Brian Jennings, though they were not in their prime. Jennings is a constant or often spars with Anthony Joshua, so you can see the quality there. Joyce has fought better quality opponents than Daniel. So I think he has a richer CV as compared to Daniel, and he has gone 10 rounds with better opponents. He has a better engine. He has a better conditioning than Daniel. He has not been there yet. So I pick Daniel Dubois to win the fight by KO, but I see, though I think it's a 50-50 fight, which can go anybody's way. I'm just picking Daniel Dubois to win. This fight, if Anthony Joshua vacates his WBO title. The winner would be ranked number 2 and would be facing number 1 ranked Alexander Usyk, who just beat Derek Chisora in a 12-rounder. So there's a lot at stake. The British title is at stake, and the European heavyweight title is also at stake. And getting a spot at the WBO World Heavyweight Championship is also at stake. I'm just picking Daniel Dubois slightly to win this fight over Joyce. But if Joyce wins, it wouldn't be a surprise. I urge you all to tune into BT Sports, and I think DSTV would be showing it, so you can tune in and watch an amazing night of boxing. Thank you, sports lovers. Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe to the channel, and also remember, COVID is still around. Adhere to all protocols. Stay positive. Au revoir. Bye-bye.